Welcome, everybody, to the second session of day 5 of the Parenting Parents Conference. My name is Vivian Ani, and I'm the founder of the Parenting Parents Academy and the convener of the Parenting Parents Conference. Our second session is here, and our speaker is live in the studio. We'll be bringing Ugochi in a moment, but before then, let's tell you a bit about Ugochi, who is the speaker of the second session. Ugochi will be speaking on the safety education. Ugochi is a social development strategist with specialty in creating products and programs that are providing policy advisory on pressing development issues affecting young Africans. Her major work pillars are around ensuring child safety, reducing substance abuse in youths, and providing strategy for social impact initiatives. She is the author of a child safety storybook series available in English and French, a co-creator of an online safety game for children, and developer of social impact apps. Ugochi is committed to ensuring that young people become better versions of themselves through her work in social development. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in this platform the second speaker of today, Ugochi Obidiegwu. Hello, Ugochi. Welcome to this platform.
Okay. Okay, so hi, Mrs. Vivian Annie. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so I was planning that when we're having this session, I would also go live on Instagram so we can carry along the people on Instagram. I hope that's okay with you.
Very, very okay. Please do.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So well done, well done. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this conference. I really, really love the name of the conference, which is the Proactive Parent Conference. And really, we want our parents to be proactive, right? So yes, I'm
Yeah.
excited that we're doing this together. So hi, Instagram. We are having a session with the proactive parent community. They're having this proactive parent conference, and I just thought to carry you also along so that you're also part of what
Awesome.
we're doing today. Yes.
Awesome.
So
I'll,
yes.
I'll be leaving the stage for you, so you do your thing.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So welcome, welcome everybody. Please share with me where you're joining from. Instagram, hello again. Say where you're joining us from, and then of course, Facebook, YouTube. Please also share where you're joining us from. So today's topic is safety education as a component of effective parenting. And I'm so glad that Mrs. Vivian and he chose this particular topic because many times parents, we think once you have provided food, you provided clothes, you have paid school fees, you have taught them values, how to be good children, you think it's okay. It's good, but it's not okay because we also have to incorporate safety education into what we are doing with our children. And so that's why I really like what we're doing here today, the Proactive Parent Conference. Oh, okay. Hi. Sobel Margreen Solution says join from TEF. Okay, awesome. Thank you for coming in. So we're speaking on safety education as a component of effective parenting. So I'll just like you to imagine these scenarios with me. So now we are on holiday, right? And you either have to be at work or you have to be at your business, depending on which one that you have chosen. If your child went for a sleepover at a friend's place or at a family member's place and somebody tried to molest them, will your child know what to do? That's the first one. The second is, if a fire started at your own home, would your child know what to do? Again, if your child was in the company of other children and one of the children there started maybe choking or maybe the person fainted, would your child know what to do? And I know that you might be thinking, okay, maybe they might be too small to take action. The truth is, even them calling for help is also something, but they even need to know that they should call for help and not just stay stuck in that process. So it's really important that as much as we teach our children math and English, we teach them values, we teach them culture, it's also important that we add safety education because the action or inaction of people around us can put our children at risk. So when I say action, so if, for example, an adult tries to molest your child, that is their action trying to put your child at risk. Inaction can be somebody sees something questionable, maybe an adult trying to molest a child or trying to kidnap a child, and they're like, I can't say anything, no, it's not my business, I don't want to seem like a busybody. Now your inaction in that sense is putting that child at risk. Do you see what I mean? So because the action or inaction of people around can put children at, so I have my co-presenter is here in the house. You probably hear her voice from time to time. So she's my co-presenter. When she's ready, she'll come and say hi to you all. Anyways, back to my topic. So if the action or inaction of people around can put our children at risk, it's really important that we are intentional about educating our children. Okay, so we can't say they will pick it up as they grow. No, they don't pick it up like that. We've got to be very intentional, because the truth is, no matter how much you love your child, you would not be with them 24/7. And because you will not be with them 24/7, then it's important that you are preparing them. All right, so what is safety education? According to Ugochi Obidiegwu, yes, I'm quoting myself because I wrote this definition, right? So I have to quote myself. So according to Ugochi Obidiegwu, safety education is a deliberate and intentional dissemination of safety knowledge in a way that the selected target audience will understand. This ensures that the audience is empowered to make better safety choices in different safety scenarios that may arise as they go about their daily roles. Okay, so in simple English, all I just said is deliberately teaching people how to stay safe in different situations. That's what safety education is all about. So you might be thinking, okay, so yes, Ugochi, I agree with you. We need to have safety education, but I'm not a safety professional. I'm just a parent. How do I teach about this to my children? So I would say that you don't need to be a safety professional. You don't need to be a safety professional to teach your children about safety. Just the same way you learn things and then you come and share that knowledge with your children. It's the same thing here. You learn from people and then you also share with your children. And there are some people right here on social media who are also doing fantastic work, simplifying complex safety knowledge in a simple way so that you can understand and pass on the knowledge to your children. So you should be following such people. Like myself, we have Child Body Safety NG, we have the School Safety Expert, we have the Safety Club, we have Dr. Mims, we have Dr. Nora Jaka, we have First Aid by Levante. These are just a few examples right here on social media that if you check them out, check their pages, you can get information on how to keep children safe. And with that, you are equipped as a parent to go and share knowledge with your children. So now that being said, as you pick up the information and you learn, then it's now important that you pass on this knowledge to them. So what topics should you be teaching your child? Topics can span across online safety. That is really important now because the pandemic made almost everybody to switch online, right? And now, even though we've started things that makes it seem like we are now doing more of in-person and we're not as much online, but the truth is the online community is going to be here for a very long time. We may not totally escape it anymore. It will always be a part of the work we do. So you must teach your children about online safety. How do they navigate the online terrain without being a prey to anybody, without getting into harm's way? It's really important. We also have body safety and boundaries. Now, this is really critical because the age for abuse and molestation keeps dropping by the day. And so if our children are going to be encountering these things, then it is important that we are preparing them. Many times we find children in situations, and because they are in that situation, nobody prepared them. They are now confused on how to act. But imagine if we have prepared them when they find themselves in those kinds of situations, it's easier for them to make the right choice. Okay, so I've mentioned you should teach an online safety. I've talked about body safety and boundaries. It's also important that you teach about road safety, preventing falls, fire safety, first aid, preventing abduction, drugs and alcohol. And it's really important that you know that this is not an exhaustive list. This is just an example to get your mind open to see that there are many topics we can teach our children. And you should also know that as much as we have several topics that children can be taught, not every child will be taught at the same level. So for example, a child that is really young, you just need to dumb down the information to their level. Maybe make it a song, make it a slogan, make it interesting, make it sound like a story. But someone who is a teenager, you would need to give more information because, they are at that level where there is peer pressure. So you need to equip them enough so that no matter what they are faced with, they can make the right decisions. So the age of the child will determine how complex or how simple the topic is going to be. So the next thing would be, so how are you going to teach your children about safety? Because they are children, one thing we have found is using interesting methods is a great way to get their attention. So for example, I remember that the very first time I started visiting schools to train children on how to stay safe, when I would give them gist of what happened in another country. Oh, in so and so country, a girl saved her blind grandmother. In this other country, a boy pulled out his brother from a swimming pool and he tried to do CPR. It got their attention. That's the power of storytelling. So it's the same thing here. You could see something in the news and say, okay, how do I storify this thing and teach my child? And when you make it a story, it gets their attention. And after telling them the story, then you pass on the message that you need to pass. So what that does is that you have used an entertaining method to pass on knowledge. The child would always remember, trust me. When it sounds like gist, even you that you're an adult, when it's gist, you get it. How much more children? So use interesting methods like stories, like videos, like games. That's my, I mentioned I have a second speaker here. She's behind the camera. So in case you're hearing her voice and I'm making faces, I'm making the faces at her. So anyways, so stories, videos, games, and make it as interactive as possible. Remember that as you teach the children, ask them questions. The reason you're asking questions is you're trying to gauge that they've picked up what you have said. And then the way they answer would let you know if they got it correctly or if not. And then you can also make necessary corrections. Okay? So use interesting methods. So the next question will now be, okay, so when do we now teach about these things? So there is something I have been proposing to parents and teachers and adults whenever I have conversations with them, and it's around the subject of having a family safety meeting. And I know that whenever I say family safety meeting, the name sounds too serious, but basically it's just an opportunity for the family members to bond. So do you have anything that happens in your home where everybody comes together, they're gisting, they're laughing? In your home, do you have movie night? Do you have popcorn night? Do you have game night? Do you have a day where you all just go out to have fun together? Make that fun activity an opportunity to pass on safety knowledge. Because again, remember, we're dealing with children, right? If you are too serious, if the thing sounds too complex, you're just like, I beg, I don't even want to hear what these people are saying. But if you make it interesting, it gets their attention. So imagine that you, in your family, you have this game night where it's almost like a talent hunt. One child would maybe get on the table and do debate, and that person would maybe present a song. And in the course of all that gisting and laughing and having fun, at the end or somewhere in the middle, you say, okay, so there's something I want to share with you today. There was a story, something like this happened somewhere, and I think that you need to know so that you can act. And then you just slot it in. Don't make it too complex. Don't make it too serious. Just slot it in. What happens is you have systematically ingrained safety as part of the things you are teaching your children. Now, imagine in your family, you have such an event, maybe once a week. By the end of 4 weeks, which is 1 month, you would have covered about 4 topics, or you would have done one topic across several areas in an in-depth manner. So what happens is at the end of 12 weeks, which is a quarter, you have gone far. At the end of a whole year, you have actually done more. And so what you have done is so important for the child, because the truth is, the child might feel, but I'm not using this information right now. Even you might feel, but the child doesn't need it right now. But guess what? When something happens in some days to come, in some months to come, the knowledge that they need would bubble to the top of their minds and they can act. Trust me, children can act in an emergency. I know they look small, they look like they are not really paying attention, but trust me, when they find themselves in that situation, they can act. So it's really important that we do not look down on children, that we are able to teach them, share knowledge with them as much as is possible. Okay? So when you are talking about parenting now, you must ensure that as long as you are giving the values, you are providing everything that needs to be provided, safety education must be a part of it. It's really critical. And I've run you through how to go about it, how to make it interesting, the frequency, and basically just the information that you need to get started. I know again there is another thing that worries a lot of parents. You feel like, okay, it's too much. I don't really know that much. I'm not a safety professional, but like I mentioned earlier, you do not need to be a safety professional. If you feel you do not have enough knowledge to share, by all means, check out the people I mentioned. Go online, look at their pages. They've simplified information. Also, go on YouTube. We have videos that make your life really easy. Videos that how will I say this now? Videos that try to even simplify, maybe with even characters, so that your child can understand. And as long as you're willing to do that set, you would find that even you, the adult, you would get to learn something in the process. Because many times when we finish training, many safety professionals, when we train parents or we train teachers, we find that even the parents are like, okay, I didn't know this. I thought it was just for the children, but now I see that it's of value to me. Okay. So one of the things that you must also bear in mind is that you don't just expect that because you started teaching your child about safety today, um that's going to be the end. It's not going to be a one-off thing. And even when you do it for just a little bit and then you stop, it's also not good enough. It's not good enough. It has to be a continuous process, because look at it. When your children have to go to school and graduate, maybe at primary 5 or primary 6, they go through years of training. So how much more something like this, which is critical? There was a story recently where a young girl in a school, she got home and she reported a situation to her dad. It was actually to her mom, and she was saying that her teacher asked her a funny question. I think that either the teacher had asked her, has anybody kissed you before, or do you have a boyfriend? And she was like, excuse me, sir, I'm not okay with that question. And she got home and she went to tell her mom. I said, Mom, you said if somebody asked me this kind of question, I should let you know. And guess what? The very next day, the mom and the dad went to that school. And in the course of conversation and investigation, it was discovered that this teacher had already molested some of the girls in that secondary school. How did this whole story come out? Just because one child was able to say something to her parents. And the reason that child could say something was because the parents had informed her ahead. The parents had prepared her and had said, if somebody has this kind of conversation with you, you must say something. So this is why it's really important that as parents, you go the extra mile. Don't say, it's not my business. Don't say, but the children are too small. Let the children be children. That's how things used to spoil. That's how things get bad, because I say let them be children. Because the truth is, even if you are doing a fantastic job with your own child, you don't know what's going on in other people's homes. Some children are being molested. Now, what is happening in their homes, they are now bringing it to transfer to other children. And that's why one of the things I teach children is, as much as we are saying, don't allow adults to touch your private part, don't allow adults to molest you. You too, don't go around touching other people's private parts, and don't go around trying to and molest other children. Because many times we tend to absolve them, but many times because of what they are also experiencing in their homes, they are bringing it. So if you do not know what other children are bringing from their various homes, you only know your own child. How about going the extra mile to prepare your child so that your child can stand? Because this thing, peer pressure, is real, most especially for those who are teenagers. That's the time where they're trying to form their own identity, they're trying to become their own person, and they may not even know how they should act or how they should react, or they do not want to be called a mommy's boy or a daddy's girl, and so they try to pretend like they have everything under control. Meanwhile, they do not. So it's really important that we are intentional, we are systematic about it. So I have certain resources, and I know that my other peers in the industry also have resources where you can use it to systematically teach your children. So we have books, we have podcasts. If you just go to the link in my bio, for those on Instagram, and then for those on Facebook and YouTube, you can check out my website, or you come to Instagram and check the link, www.thesafetychick.com. Chick without a K, just CHIC. We have resources, there are videos, there are podcasts, there are books, there are games, so that both child and parents get to learn in the process. Because we need both parties, we need to work together. Okay, so that we don't keep having the issues where something has happened, and then we are now the scapegoat. I would rather we learn the lessons from things happening across the world, as opposed to allowing yourself to have that personal experience. It's not going to be something pleasant. You won't be happy as a parent hearing that something bad happened to your child, because again, as a parent, you begin to blame yourself that, oh, you didn't pay much of attention. I really do not want that to happen to you. Okay, so just a quick recap, because I know some people just joined in very recently. I mentioned that it's important that we have safety education, and I basically said that safety education is a systematic method of passing on safety knowledge to a selected target audience. So if your target audience is your children, the systematic way of passing it is not a one-off thing. It's a systematic method. So are you going to do it weekly? If I say you should do it daily now, you might say, okay, that's too much stress to go to. How are we going to manage that? But the truth is, if you can simplify it to maybe one-liners or read a storybook here, it's actually achievable. I mean, in almost all our schools across the country, math and English is studied every day. And that is how important we should take safety education. And I also mentioned that if you do not know enough, because you might say, but I'm not a safety professional, you should look out for safety professionals. And I gave examples of people who are sharing information on social media in simple forms. And I also mentioned that as you learn, pass it on. And I've also mentioned that if you are a bit worried about the people on social media, you can just go to YouTube, put on certain keywords, and information is going to come out. Search, and then choose the one that you want. And then I proceeded to give you examples of things you can teach your children. I said you can teach on online safety, you can teach on fire safety, you can teach on road safety, you can teach on first aid, drug abuse and alcohol use, preventing falls, preventing abduction. Okay, and then I also mentioned that use interesting methods when teaching your children. For example, storybooks, videos, games, and cartoons. I know it might seem a bit unserious. These children are just playing, but trust me, as much as they are playing, they are learning, they are picking up the information that they need, and that is actually what is critical. And then I've talked about the family safety meeting, where in that fun activity you have in your home, you must ensure that you are integrating safety education as part of the things that you teach them. So I mentioned that if, for example, you are having a movie night or a popcorn night in your home, or a talent hunt, you can now slot just a very brief and short safety lesson into it, ask questions, and in fact, give tasks and assignments. Very important. When you give the children tasks to do, it helps them to take ownership of the process. And anything anybody takes ownership of is easy for them to remember, because they feel like they are a part of it, as opposed to every time mommy and daddy are just the ones coming, and they'll just feel like these ones are just pouring. They are not involving us. So don't talk at them. Get them involved in the process. So Vivian, I'm going to be stopping here right now to see if you have questions from your end, and also on Instagram. Please, if you have questions, this is the time to share. We have a very short time frame, and I just thought to pack in as much as I could within that short time frame. So over to you, Vivian. Any question from your end? Instagram, any question from your end? It's nice. My turn to wait. I'll be looking at all of you. So hi, Paul. Hi, Ishaku, Credis Hobbs, King Oli, Dr. Yems. Hi, Chisom. Good to see you. Hi, Kel Beauty Studio, Victoria. Oh, Fisayo. Justibe, Tulex B, Jennifer, Akintude, Jedeka, Imeme, Mo. Hi, Mo. Michael, I see you too. Innovation Nerd and Teachers Domain, One Kiosk Africa, SB Vong, I hope I got that right. Ubong, Focus Counseling, Ayomo Umidi, Green Caleb, Gubabi Safe, Chidima, Taiwo Kefas, Chineze, Wilson, Apumze, Ifechukwu, Shesi, Isaac. Okay. Hi. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, Paul says, will this live be saved? Yes, I'll do that. I'll make sure it's on my profile so that everybody can access it after now. Yeah. Hi, Ify. Welcome. So any questions for me before I wrap up this session? I can see any question on this platform. And Instagram, I just got one here. So we're all good, right? We're all fine. We don't have questions. How are we all doing? Supposed to be short and sweet. Okay, Vivian is back.
Hello, Ugochi, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much for that presentation. It was an expository one. I have some questions. We are streaming in so many platforms, so you may not be seeing all the questions.
Okay.
We're on YouTube, Facebook, and so I have some questions here on YouTube.
Okay, can I have them, please?
Okay, someone said, can you give us details on how to get this book? And is it cartoon he wants to write? Maybe cartoon. I'm seeing CATON. CATUN. Maybe cartoon is what he wants to say. Cartoons that will be helpful for our children to learn this safety. That's the first question.
Okay, so about books on my website, you can buy my child safety storybooks from my website. For cartoon, for now, we just have a trailer. We're currently working on adapting the storybook into a cartoon series. So there's just a trailer personally. However, when you go on YouTube and you type, for example, fire safety cartoon for kids, various options are going to come out. So now, depending on the age of your child, then you can now pick the one that you really like, and then you can show that with your bed. I would like to advise that before you show any cartoon to your children, make sure you have watched it. Parents, we really got to take ownership of whatever we're showing our children. And that's part of the reason why I'm now big on cartoons and games, because I see that some of the content that our children are being exposed to may not necessarily have ideals that we the parents believe. So you've got to check and be sure that it suits your personal beliefs before you hand it over to your child, so that both parties you don't get upset when you find something that you're not supposed to find. So please check and be sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So the second question, okay, the second person said, your session was very insightful. Thank you. Okay, another question is, are you hearing me?
Yes. Loud and
Can
clear.
you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay, Ugochi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Okay. The second question said, you talked about an online program. How do I get it?
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, you're asking about, I talked about an online program, or I talked about online safety.
Online program, that's what they wrote. Online program, safety program for children.
Okay, so the person wants to join a safety program for children.
Yes.
Okay, so if you would like my team members to show up maybe at your school or at your summer camp to have a session with your children, we can totally arrange that. All I need you to do is send an email to ugochi@thesafetychick.com. ugochi@thesafetychick.com. Once we get it, a team member would sort out the logistics and someone is going to show up at your school. So if you want your children to be taught either in a school setting, place of worship setting, or summer camp setting, we have team members that go around to ensure that that happens. Now, if you want your teachers to be trained, you want your staff to be trained, that can also be arranged. So just send an email to ugochi@thesafetychick.com, and we're going to ensure that that is sorted. A team member is actually on this call and she's taking note of that. So if you once we get that email, it can be organized.
Okay, you can also send us the mail. You can also send us the email address, then we can share in the community later.
Okay, let me see if I can type it for you here in the comment section.
Okay.
Okay, at safetychick.com. Instagram, any questions from your end? Hi, Savvy Pharmacist. ACFRW official, Hope's Furniture, King Ara. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for coming in. Ushamaki, thank you also for coming. Yeah. So, any further questions before we go? Any further questions? Okay. Okay, so in the absence of further questions, I'll just like to say a big thank you to everyone who joined in. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sending your questions and your comments. I saw some of your comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'm going to save this live so that it can be on the feed so that any other person can watch. Wanted to keep it short and sweet because I know how time can be. People don't want to watch long things anymore. They just want to watch short and all that. So, basically, just keep trying to keep it short and sweet. Do you have any other question, Mrs. Annie, before I leave?
No, no questions again. Someone said your session was very insightful.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me to your platform. I really appreciate it. And I hope that the parents who are here, you will not just listen. You would leave here with a plan. You would leave here with a plan to have that family safety meeting with your kids. You will leave here with a plan on how can you begin to simplify the knowledge so that your children can pick up what they need to pick up and understand that parenting is not just values. It's not just feeding them. It's not just clothing them and giving them money. It's also equipping them with safety knowledge because when a child is empowered, they can protect themselves even in your absence.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that insightful session. Very insightful. We
You're
are grateful
welcome. Welcome.
here. Um, People in the comment section are raving you, saying, "Wow, this is very expository. I never thought of this." Someone also said, "Wow, I've never heard about safety education for my children."
Hmm. It's one day they used to learn something, so so, so it's fine.
Someone said, "I will contact you so that, okay, I am a school owner. I will contact you so that I can arrange with you for my school." Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. All right, Ugochi, we will share all of this in our platform after this so that the people can get the school and then they will take it off from there. So
All
thank
right.
you very much for being here. God bless
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Instagram, bye. Hi, Bukola. Hi, Dr. Wanko. We are done, but the replay will be up.
Yes, the replay will be on the YouTube session.
Okay. All right.
All right, people, we have come to the end of the second session, day 5. Like Ugochi said, don't leave this platform, don't leave this conference without any plan. The number one plan should be, how do I break all of these things down? How do I begin to walk into a process? Parenting is not tips and hacks. You need to be in a process. You need to commit to a journey. It is a journey, it's not an end. And one of the ways to commit to this journey is by joining an accountability annual program that we have launched. You can see the screen and you can see the number to chat on how to join Build Your Home Tribe. Build Your Home Tribe is an annual accountability program that will run in the academy where we hold you accountable for your journey as a parent. You will have a plan, you will have all of these things broken down on how to put it into perspectives. You can't live here and just go like that without any plan. If you don't plan to fail, if you don't plan, like the saying goes, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So we have brought in this program to be able to break all of these things down while we journey with our children in our accountability, in an annual accountability program. So guys, send a chat to this number on the screen. Let's give you details on how to be part of this program. So many parents have already started chatting us about it, and we have few slots to put in people for the first quarter. So send us a chat so that we can send you details on how to be part of this program. We'll see you again in the third session by 6 p.m. Don't go away. Be here. It's been value back to back for the past 5 days. Let everyone in your circle know that something is happening here. Send these videos, share it everywhere, share it to your social media platforms, and be here by 6 p.m. Thank you for being here, and God bless you.